Okay, you guys. Hope you can see me on this. I think I'll stand up. I was gonna sit, but I think I'll stand up. Okay, we're gonna talk today about welcome to my channel. I'm Karen. If you haven't met me before, I'm Karen. Nice to have you here. Thank you so much, and thank you for the new subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. So thank you. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about journaling and Bible journaling, of course. And my Bible is getting really filled, but I like it this way. And so I don't know if maybe you are just new to journaling or new to Bible journaling, whichever it is, or gratitude writing, which is another form of journaling. I do both. I like to do the Bible and do the, the scriptures and stuff. And I also like to write my thoughts and write different things. So I'm just starting in this new journal here. And we got some little chickens, so I even did some little artwork with chickens and all that. I love drawing roses, so I did some roses and different things like that. And then I didn't get a chance to do my journal yesterday morning, which I usually do during the week time. I do it in the morning, and I didn't get a chance to do it, so I did it in the evening, which is fine. But so it just depends. So we're going to talk about some of the like self-improvement, how you can improve your journaling, or how you can kind of fine-tune it to be the way that you want it to be not really presented, because I don't know who else you would share your writing with. It just depends on what you have in it. Like I put some personal things in there, depending on you. So we're going to talk about some of those things, so to be productive in your journaling, right? So the number one thing is when you will do your journaling. So mine, like I said, let me put my other glasses on. Well, let me see if I can read this paper I have here with these. Probably not. But anyway, I just feel better talking to you guys with my distance glasses on. So I have to wear both. But anyway, so you want to pick a time that is best for you. I like doing it early morning, like right after I wake up. I go to the bathroom, I get something to drink, either a tea or some water, and then I like to just kind of lounge around, actually, and either still lay in bed and do it, or get up and have my tea, depending on what mood I'm in or whatever. And so I like to do that. And most of the time, my morning routine is to do it when I first get up, because otherwise my day gets so busy that I won't ever find time to do it consistently, right? So if I don't do it as soon as I get up, I do it right before I go to bed. So just like last night, we had something going on yesterday morning, and so I didn't do it in the morning because we had people here or whatever. And then so I did it in the evening when I went to bed. And that is my way that holds me accountable. Like, oh, I didn't do my journaling today before I go to bed. I have to do my journaling. No matter how tired I am, I still try to do it. Even though you're not like fresh in the morning when you do it. Things are really on your mind in the morning what you want to accomplish. Different things you're grateful for. By the time the end of the night comes, it's like you're so drained and so tired from the day that you may forget some things that you would have mentioned earlier in the morning. That's what I find. So that's why I like doing it in the morning. But hey, you may get up and have to leave for work right away in the morning. You don't have time for that stuff. And so then maybe your best time would be maybe after dinner, maybe after you come home from work and you have your meal, and then, you do it at that time. And before you turn on the TV, right? But, so it just depends on you and your lifestyle, what time frame you have. But that's the number one thing, is to pick a time so you can be consistent that you will do your journaling. That's the most important. And then you can hold yourself accountable to that. And then setting goals. So Like, what do you want to include in your journal? So I like to include things like, let's see, I like to include my three things that I'm grateful for. So I always write the three things at the bottom of the page that I'm grateful for. I like to include dear Christ, or dear God, dear Lord, dear Father. I like to include a little paragraph of a prayer from my heart to, just like I were praying, right, in my journal. I like to include that in there. And then at the beginning of the journal, I like to include just kind of like where I'm at in life. Like, I'll say something like, today is going to be a beautiful day because maybe I get to spend it with my son or my grandchildren, or I get to do a specific thing that I really like, or we're going to go somewhere, or we're going to have, a lovely meal somewhere, or we're going to make it ourselves, or my husband's going to cook together with me, or whatever the case may be. What you have in your mind that that something's going to materialize. I like to start it off in a positive vibe and to try to keep my journal in a positive vibe, unless there's something really like I'm praying for a friend of mine whose sister passed, or I'm praying for, that's usually not at the beginning, but like in there, other things that I like to include. So then what types of a look do you want your journal to have? Like mine is, I just do a little writing, I write the full page, and then I kind of bullet point my, what I'm grateful for. And then in between the lines, I like to skip lines, and in between there, and leave a little space for some artwork, because I love to draw flowers and different things. And so I also include some artwork. So what is it you will be doing? Will you maybe just be shading the lines with color? Maybe you're going to just leave color out. Or you're going to leave a little square that you're going to put some little artwork or stickers or something like that in. Or you're going to stamp, or you're going to do some other type of technique. So it just depends on you and what you want to include. And then who do you want to focus on in your journal? So is there a specific, you could be journaling about something. You could be journaling about your garden and your plants and all that, not really about your life like I do. You could be journaling about, something else completely, your animals or whatever. You could be journaling about your marriage and how you want to make it better, or your relationship, or something like that. You could be journaling about something that I've never even heard of before, but you're journaling about it. So just pick your topic, or pick how you want your journal to feel and look and all of that. So and then what do you know? What do you know that you don't want in your journal? Because if you know what you don't want in your journal, you are better. You're further along than you thought you were. Because if you can list some of the things you don't want in your journal, then you can much better find the things that you do want, right? So then, how much time do you feel you can spend on your journal? Like my journal, I probably spend about 25 minutes, 30 minutes on my journal. So it just depends on you and your time frame. If you want to spend 10 minutes, or you want to spend, half an hour or an hour, or however long you want to spend. So have that time frame in mind, so that way you are better able to not sit there longer than that, and you just get it done and then you move on, right? So, and you want to block out everything when you do your journal. Your journal is just you and your time spent being creative in writing and creative in however you want to display your page. So just, think about these things. And then when do you want to reflect on what you wrote? So like, this is a really helpful tip I'm going to give you. So when you do journal, people are like, why do people journal? Why do they do that? Well, the helpful part is when you journal and you write, like say, you start writing and 3 months go by. And you're like, Well, I was writing about my relationship or whatever, so I want to go back, or I was writing about my life. I want to go back to the beginning and start reading some of these pages and see where I was then. Where was my headspace then, right? And then compared to where it is now. So you can kind of figure how much you've grown or how much you have, put up with maybe. I don't know. It just depends on what you're writing about, I can't, So anyway, do you want it to be weekly that you go back and you review and reflect on what you wrote? Or do you want it to be, every 3 months, or, you want to do it yearly? I pretty much do it like yearly, to tell you the truth. I don't get too involved with going back and reflecting that much. Unless something really happens, something bad happens or something like that, and I'm like, and you're grieving or whatever the heck, and then you go back and you're like, well, where was I before I was grieving? How was my writing then compared to how it is now? It's full of sadness now. How was it before? How can I learn from that and get back to the place where I was? That's what I learned journaling is all about. It can really help you to grow and to stay upbeat and things like that. So I really like journaling. I believe in it. And then another question is, do you want to include a section for burnout, like a brain dump, right? So these are wonderful little sections that you could include in there where you have a little area where you write about what's really on your mind, right? And I know some of you are probably thinking it'd need a whole book to write, right? No, but you just write about some of the things that are stressing you out, some of the things that are bothering you, maybe some of the things that are bothering you about your marriage, or some of the things that are bothering you about a boyfriend, or some things that are bothering you about family. And family can be really emotional and stressful. So you can go to that little section and write about it, and it kind of gets it off your mind for a while, and it helps to relieve that pressure, that strain. And it is really a great way to reduce some stress, some emotional stuff, because, everybody has these emotions, and we have frustrations from time to time and stress. And if you can do a brain dump, go to that little section and include that in your page. Just kind of map out how you want your journal pages to look, and then include that in your journal, and then just repeat it. Like I got a section down here that you're going to title it brain dump. You're going to title, different sections on what you want to include. Sometimes I'll even outline where I do Dear Lord or Dear Father, like prayer or whatever. And then, just do it however you want. But it's a great way to reduce some stress. And then maybe include a section on things you can or want